Hi loves, thanks for joining me today. I'm Tia and welcome to TT's Urban Pantry. I am going to can some vegetable stock. And as I was preparing everything and getting ready to pull my big stock pot out, I had this sitting on the counter because it had been washed and dried and I was about to put it away. And you know I love my Ball electric canner. So I was like, you know what? Not only is this a canner, it is a multi-use cooker. So I am going to utilize this today and not use my stove. I'm not canning in this. Vegetable stock does have to be pressure canned. But what I'm doing is I'm going to simmer everything in here and actually prepare my vegetable stock in here. So I'm excited about that. I have 14 quarts of water. I have this on high. I'm going to bring everything to a boil and then I will turn it down to a simmer for about 2 hours. I'm using the Ball Blue Book recipe, however I am modifying it a little bit. This recipe says it will yield 8 pints or 4 quarts of stock at the end. I have doubled it. I want more than that. It says, the one recipe says to put in 7 quarts of water. So that's why I did 14. I think 7 quarts of water for a total end product of 4 quarts is a little bit much. So maybe I'll come out with more quarts than what I'm thinking. But it asks for red peppers, and I have canned vegetable stock with red peppers, but the grocery store didn't have any. So I have these, I don't know if they're called rainbow peppers or aloha peppers, but I'm putting those in there. And I have washed everything. I did cut the tops off and took out the seed core, and then I just kind of squished it with my hand. I have 4 quartered tomatoes, and these are pretty big. I did wash them and I just took the top ends off. I also have in 3 large onions. The recipe says 3 medium onions. These were way big. And I have in 1 whole head of garlic. The recipe says 3 cloves. You know we like our garlic. And if I gotta open it up and peel it anyways, I might as well just do it all. So, dump the rest of that in there. I also have 12 stalks of celery and 2 pounds of carrots that have all been looked over, cut, and cleaned. I have about 10 bay leaves here that I'm dropping in, and some whole peppercorns. Do about that much. Let me do a little bit more. And then I have some coarse salt. This is Mediterranean sea salt, so I'm gonna do that much. It's a lot of water in there. You know how I am about over salting things, so I will have Mr. come and taste it all once it all blends in and everything. He'll let me know if I need more salt or anything. So there everything is, and I'm going to keep on stirring it as it starts to cook. I just turned this on right before I hit the record button, and it's really coming up the temperature really fast. I think it's going to start boiling here soon. But as it does, I'm going to just keep stirring everything so these onions can pull apart and the tomatoes and the celery and everything can start to, you know, break down, and we can get all of that good vegetable stock into here. So that is everything. But once this gets to a boil, I will turn it down to a simmer. I actually have this on the canning setting. I don't know if it needs to be that high, but I want it to boil. So once I do see that it starts to boiling, that's when I will adjust my temperature. After it has been boiling for a couple of minutes, I will turn this down in between low and medium, and we'll just keep it there for about 2 hours, and then I will bring you back when it's time to can it up. We are back and ready to fill our jars. Before I forget though, if you like or have learned anything from this type of content, please like and subscribe, and also hit the notification button. That way you are alerted anytime I download any new content. I try to do that at least twice a week, sometimes more. And if you could also share or comment. I really enjoy your comments. If you have any questions, or you have a process that works well for you, or anything you would even like to see me can, I greatly welcome all of that. But right now I'm scooping our veg broth into a, what's this thing called? A stock pot. I'm just going to check. We're good. And I have my strainer covered with cheesecloth to catch all those veggie bits and everything. I tried scooping out as much as the vegetables that I could, but there's still some floating around down here. So we're just going to go for a while and try to fill up as much as I think is going to fill the 7 quarts that I have in the canner. One thing about this was I had it set in between low and medium, and I did some things around the house, even left, took a nap, and when I came back, it was more like veggie water. It wasn't really stock. It didn't have that color. If you can see it now, it's actually lighter than this. I turned it on about an hour and a half ago and let it go at a higher temperature. So one thing that I've learned is, okay, so I might think that low medium is a simmer, but it's really not for this. It was a little bit too low. Still had that good taste. It tastes like vegetable stock, but I just wasn't happy with the color. And I was like, we are not going to want to pull that from the pantry and it's looking like vegetable water. I have my canner full of 7 quarts. This is the pressure canner. We have to pressure can these. And we're getting pretty low down in here, so I think, see how much that brings us, how many quarts. Want to get some more of this. Strain it through the cheesecloth a little bit, get some stock in there. And we'll start pulling out our jars. Put this here. I broke my debubbler last week, so I went and got a new kit. I threw it away. But this is how it comes in the store now. So you get your debubbler, another funnel, which is great because now I have 3 and I can do more at a time, and a new jar grabber. I didn't need a new one, but they had started to wear thin and just, they were used, so it's nice to have more. I am using wide mouth today. Preferably I would like to use regular mouth. However, I've been having a hard time finding regular mouth quarts at the store. And I have a ton of wide mouth quarts. So I thought I would just utilize what I had and save those regular mouth quarts for something else. I don't know, but at least I have them because I have a bunch of white mouths. Some things that I have planned coming up is I do need to do chicken stock. That is going to be a 2-day process. What I will usually do is on a Friday, depending on what time I get off or what's going on, is on a Friday I will, trying to get it so you can see it a little bit better, but on Friday I will start the chicken broth. And then I will strain it just like I do with this cheese broth, or with this cheesecloth. But I need to put it in the refrigerator overnight. That way, any fat that is coming off of it that didn't get caught in the cheesecloth, it will congeal and rise to the top. And then once it's cooled like that, I can then take it and scrape off all that fat and can it. I'd have to warm our broth back up, but that's no big deal. It's the cooling to get the congealed part at the top. So that's a 2-day process. But I think I am officially out of chicken broth downstairs. So I definitely need to get that on my radar and be thinking about that when I'm thinking about what I'm going to do for the week and everything. Hopefully you can see this. Let me lower it. There. Still wants to move. My word, that did not want to work for me. But hopefully you can see how light this is. Preferably, I would like it a little bit darker, but I am okay with it because the flavor is there. I am going to fill these to 1-inch headspace. And then this does need to be topped off with the rest of that. And I think I might only get 1 canner full, which is 7 quarts. If you recall, I was really hoping for double that. Like always, wipe off your rims. I haven't noticed this with vegetable broth, but with chicken broth especially, just like with vegetable soup or with any tomato products, they're a little bit oilier, and I've seen it where I've had a lot more siphoning. So give them a double wipe. These are really hot. It's just really light. And I know it was because it didn't simmer at that higher temperature, that temperature that I thought it was, as long as I would have liked it, and it's starting to get late and I can't wait any longer. Good thing is it's vegetable stock and not hard at all, so I can always do this again next weekend, or not really a midweek project for me, just because I work full time. I also take care of my house. Get those in there. I'm going to strain some more down in here. I don't think there's enough to finish. I am also going to change this cheesecloth. Take it, I'm going to squeeze it. Get all that goodness out. Just lay that on there. And this is all that's left. So slowly, I'm going to try to pour this in there. Almost done. And that's it. I'm going to push this down in here. So for the quarts, I am going to process for 35 minutes, and a pint, it's going to be 30 minutes. And that is that. This is done. I've unplugged this base. This does need to be hand washed. As much as I would love it, I can't put it in the dishwasher. There. That's what I get for trying to be in a hurry. So we'll definitely have a canner full, and we'll probably have to do 2 or 3 jars, maybe just 1. We'll see once all of this is finished. But I don't have enough for 2 canner fulls. We're going to take what we're going to get at this point. Actually a little better for me because I don't want to stay up that late. Let's see where we are with Headspace. Okay. 2 jars. I don't know if there's enough, or 2 quarts. I don't know if there's enough for 3 quarts. What I might do is when I'm preparing my second batch in here and warming my jars up, I might get 3 quarts of jars ready, and then also put in a pint. And then that way, once these 2 are full, I can better eyeball it. Nope, that's not enough for a quart, but it's perfect for a pint. Then if there's anything left over, I can always put it in some of my dog food. I will make dog food for my senior down there, my senior puppy. And I'll put a little broth on it for flavor. So he loves that. So if anything, the broth that does not get canned will get used. That's it, can full. Gotta match up my arrows. This is a Presto pressure canner. And that is high. Once this comes up to temperature, it's going to start venting. It needs to vent for 10 minutes, so make sure you're close by and you set your timer. At that time, once the 10 minutes is over, you can then put your weight on it. Once the weight starts rocking, then you're going to set your timer for 35 minutes for a quart and 30 minutes for a pint. Once that time has come up and the rocking of your gauge or your weight has not been disturbed, you are then going to remove your pressure canner from the heat and let it come down naturally. You will know the pressure is off of it when this nipple, it has gone back down, and you can remove your weight or your gauge without any steam coming up. At that time, you will then unlock your pressure canner, and still leaving the lid on, kind of pull it away from you and leave it a little ajar. That way some cool air can start to come in. If you just take that right off of there, and I've done it before, especially when I did not know what I was doing, as soon as that time was up, took that weight off, let it vent, 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 and then I couldn't figure out how come my headspace is always off. I wasn't being patient. It's too hot in there and too cool out here, and everything was siphoning out. So you definitely can do that, but that's not the safest thing. So you will have to wait. Once you take your weight gauge off and it's your pressure has fallen, just take your lid and kind of set it ajar a little bit. That way some cool air can get into it. I've even noticed to listen. If I go to take that top off and I hear the that's liquid siphoning out. I'll put that top back on real quick. That way, hopefully I haven't let in too much cool air. But if you can take it out without any siphoning, you have a great product. You worked hard for all this product. You don't want it all to come out of those jars and into the bottom of this pot. So thank you for staying with me. I will go ahead and can up the rest of this and also let you know how many jars we came up with at the end. But I think we're done for this part of it. But again, thank you all. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate your comments, and if you would like it, and also share it. Have a wonderful and blessed day. And there you have it. A total of 10 quarts of vegetable broth. I processed 7 in the canner and then ran out of time. So I was going to go ahead and pressure can the last 3 today. However, I think I'm just going to use them. I've already opened this one right here and used it for some greens. And I think I'm going to bake some chicken tomorrow, make some smothered chicken. So I'll use either what's left or the other ones for that. So I am just going to can the 7 quarts that I did yesterday, and then the other 3 I will just keep in the fridge.